Hey guys, I often get asked, what's your favorite bait? What's your favorite technique? Well, me, there's no secret. I've been around a long time and everybody knows it's a jig. You know, this old jig right here has been a part of my life since the mid 1980s, and countless numbers and numbers of bass have been caught on it. I'm gonna try to do a little 2 or 3 part deal, if you'll bear with me, to explain to you why this jig, why this style, and how it came about. Stay tuned. You know, in part 1, I talked about the flat eye hook and how it all changed. You know, back in the 80s, all we had in this thing was like a 730 eagle claw or something little. I think they called it a 5/0 back then. It was actually about the size of a 4/0. Well, now with fluorocarbon line, you know, unbelievable rods, everything has changed. So we needed a hook that was small enough diameter that you could fish it with fluorocarbon, but yet it was strong enough to withstand the no stretch of fluorocarbon. This 5/0 Gamakatsu no leg hook, it does all that for us. It maintains a smaller diameter wire, and it's also very short with this particular hook. By losing that leg, you wind up with a jig hook that's the length of a 4/0 with a bite of a 5/0. And it makes it incredibly effective. You don't hardly ever miss a fish with it. But when we done it, we had to tweak the weed guard, we had to tweak the weed guard angle. We had to do a lot of work in the CAD mode, because most of your Arky style heads or any of those heads, they come up and turn up, and it allows the bend of that 60-degree hook to take the weed guard down in there. Well, this thing being a straight shank hook, we had to put a lot of lead on top. We had to get the weed guard angle right. I'm a real stickler when it comes to that. I wanted it exactly right so it doesn't get hung. Just a lot of stuff went into it, and I wanted the guys that bought my jig to know that if it said 5/8 on the package, it weighed 5/8, and if it said 1/2 ounce on the package, it weighed 1/2 ounce. So I wanted it to be spot on to do those things. Hang on. All right, guys, I'm back. Another part of this jig. This is the most overlooked, underused jig size on the market today. The common guy walks in off the street, he walks up to a 5/8 ounce jig, and he says, my God, what am I gonna do with that? Well, I promise you, every professional angler has got a lot of them in their boat. Here's why. This is not just for flipping. This jig, if you look at the head shape and head size and the diameter of it, with this hook, it's small enough wire that you can use fluorocarbon line with it, but yet it's not so big that you wind up with troubles. What this jig will allow you to do, what I do with it, I flip it, I swim it deep, I stroke it, high hop it, drag it like a Carolina rig, drag it like a football jig, deep structure, deep brush piles, everything in the world that I do with it, and I catch them. If you're in the market for a jig, if you love to fish a football jig, try this jig. If you love to stroke a jig on ledges and drops, try this jig. It is absolutely phenomenal at just about anything you want to do, and it's not only a flipping jig.